You ate at least one of these today. Maybe two. These 5 foods are quietly working against you after 50, and the reason they have never been pointed out is not because they are unusual or rare. It is because they are completely ordinary. They are in your kitchen right now. Some of them are in the products you specifically chose because you believed they were the healthier option. That last part is the one that will land hardest, because it should. None of these foods will make you acutely unwell tomorrow. What they do is quieter. They create conditions that make every challenge your body is already navigating after 50 harder to manage than it needs to be. Slightly elevated inflammation, less stable blood sugar, a gut working under more strain, consistently and over time without a single clear signal pointing back to them. The bottle by the stove. Canola, soybean, sunflower, corn, you know them collectively as vegetable oil. For decades, they were positioned as the heart-healthy choice, the sensible alternative to butter and animal fat. What that positioning never included is that these oils are chemically unstable at cooking temperatures. When heated, they break down and release compounds that contribute to the chronic low-grade inflammation that makes everything harder after 50. Joint comfort, energy levels, recovery. The things that feel like they are just changing with age are being quietly contributed to by the oil in the pan most mornings. Olive oil and avocado oil behave differently at the same temperatures because their molecular structure is genuinely different. Swapping one bottle removes a consistent daily contributor to something that may have been building without a visible signal for years. One specific change with a specific reason behind it. The one you reached for specifically because you were trying to be smarter about what you ate. Low-fat yogurt, granola bars, protein bars, anything carrying reduced fat on the front of the packaging. When manufacturers remove fat, the product loses its appeal. They compensate with sugar, artificial additives, or both. The low-fat version of most everyday products contains significantly more hidden sugar than the full-fat original. The label communicated health. The ingredient list tells a different story. After 50, with insulin sensitivity already shifting, that hidden sugar creates a blood sugar response the original version would not have caused. Read the ingredient list before anything on the front of the package. If sugar appears in the first 4 ingredients, the packaging's claim does not reflect the full picture. The staple you never once thought to question. White bread, white rice, regular pasta, white crackers, the everyday foods that have been in every kitchen you have ever had. At 35, the body processed the blood sugar spike from these efficiently. After 50, with insulin sensitivity changed, the same portion of white rice produces a stronger fat storage response than it once did. The food is identical. Your body's relationship to it changed without announcement. This also connects directly to the belly that keeps growing despite eating less. Those two experiences are not separate conversations. They come from the same biological shift happening in the same body. Reduce the portion, pair with protein before eating anything else on the plate, choose whole grain versions where that is practical. A consistent adjustment rather than a complete overhaul. The one hiding where you least expect it. Canned soups, seasoning packets, packaged sauces, processed deli meat. The items that have always been in the cupboard without ever feeling like a problem. Here is the part most women genuinely do not know. The largest source of sodium in the average woman's diet is not the shaker on the table. It is the packaging. A single can of soup can contain more than half a full day's recommended sodium intake without tasting particularly salty. The salt shaker gets the blame. The cupboard collects it quietly. After 50, blood pressure becomes more sensitive to sodium, and the kidneys process it less efficiently than before. The result is fluid retention, elevated blood pressure, and cardiovascular strain that most women trace back to everything except what was in the cupboard at lunch. Check the sodium content on the products you reach for automatically. The hidden contributors are consistently doing more than the visible ones. And this one is going to be the hardest to hear, not because it is the most dangerous, because it is the one you chose deliberately. The zero-calorie version of everything. Diet soda, sugar-free products, the sweetener in your protein powder. The zero version you specifically reached for because you were being thoughtful about what you consumed. What research now consistently shows is that artificial sweeteners disrupt the gut microbiome in ways that alter how the body responds to actual sugar. They can increase cravings rather than reduce them. After 50, when gut health is already navigating its own hormonal challenges, adding compounds that further disrupt the microbiome shows up as bloating, digestive changes, and metabolic disruption that most women never trace back to the drink they chose to protect themselves. The thing you chose specifically to be better may be working harder against your body after 50 than anything else in your kitchen. Worth asking honestly whether that choice is still serving the body you have right now. So what actually changes from here? Not everything at once. 5 foods heard in one sitting does not need to become 5 simultaneous overhauls. That is how changes start with enthusiasm and disappear within a week. Pick the one that surprised you most. Start there, this week, just that one. For the oils, shift to extra virgin olive oil for most cooking. For packaged products, read the ingredient list before the front of the label. For white carbohydrates, pair them with protein before anything else on the plate. For sodium, identify the 2 or 3 products you reach for most often and find lower alternatives. For artificial sweeteners, reduce gradually rather than cutting cold. One change, then the next. That is how a kitchen gets genuinely reclaimed without turning into a project that exhausts you before it starts. If you have existing health conditions or take any medication, speak with your healthcare provider before making significant changes to your diet. You walked into this video with a kitchen full of things that felt completely ordinary. You will walk back into that kitchen with new information about 5 of them. Nothing has physically changed in the room, but the way you move through it will be different. That shift from automatic to intentional is worth more than any diet plan anyone has ever handed you. Because intentional is the only thing that actually changes what you reach for the next time your hand goes to that shelf. Tell me in the comments which of the 5 you genuinely did not expect. Your answer shapes exactly what this channel covers next for you. Subscribe to Better Life Daily, because the food on your plate after 50 deserves the same honest conversation as everything else happening in your body right now.